So I was at Dell's Hideout with my um, songwriter friend from San Francisco. He moved here recently. He had his own music studio and he's a songwriter. We were at Dell's Hideout and I ran into my old coworker friend Tia, who used to work at St. Paul's, and she really moved up. She's a singer and she's a rapper and she's done Broadway plays. She has a son and looks she's naturally pretty. She doesn't wear any makeup. She used to be a model, and she was parked her escape right next to my car, and she was there. She's like, "Oh, hey, Emily," wondering how I'm doing, and it was funny because I just didn't think I was ever going to see her again. And I remember when I first started that job, I painted a picture of a really attractive black girls like and me because I'm a singer, and I was thinking, oh yeah, I was thinking of a lineup group. I was thinking more like the old groups, like the Supremes. I did kind of a modern-esque artwork of that, and I saw her there and ran into her. That was interesting, as things have changed so much. When I first moved here, I got inheritance. Well, we got inheritance. It wasn't all on me. I mean, I had to pay into things, but my grandpa was an artist. His friend, Filipino friend, did this artwork of him, and he was a commercial artist. He did it as a profession, and he also was a landlord. And my grandma Dolores Plinsky, she was Polish, and my grandpa Cellini, of course, Italian. He did a lot of artwork, and I was thinking about how the 50s have changed. He was an excellent artist. This is his time period when he was doing artwork. U.S. Army. I knew that I didn't have to get married. I was with him 4 years. We used to go to Ducks games, Goals games. He's a sound engineer, so we did a lot of musical stuff together. He was trying to do a band and was in PB playing with his band, and he was a drinker, but not real hard. I got him to quit drinking so much because he used to drink a lot before we met, like 10 beers, and he's like over 6 feet tall, but I'm different. I'm 5'2", so I got him to stop doing that, and that was the good that came out of it. But I started having issues with my stomach, and we didn't really know what it was. I had to go to the hospital like over 7, 8 times, and I was in the hospital a lot, and there was no way I was going to get help from him because he was working full time and was doing a lot of things with his life. And after a while, I was feeling like it was just not going to happen. I sold my wedding dress when I moved here to a shop nearby and changed my mind about things. I threw out my engagement ring that had our names engraved in it, and I decided to go a little different track. I mean, I'm a singer. God made me to be a singer. If I was going to be a football player, maybe a football player, but like my grandpa was a football player and he did wrestling and he was an athlete. My other grandpa, Dallas, was an athlete from New England. And my mom is from New England. She's a real nice lady. On a subway in New York one time, and she was to tears dealing with one of the guys there because he was too rough with her. She's not a real cursing, rough city lady. She's more of a soft, sweet lady from Connecticut. And anyone from New Jersey, usually I got with New Jersey folks, some of them are really rough, but she has a different kind of a personality than the typical stereotypical New Jersey feel of things. I like some of the music, like the Strokes from New York. The Voids are a good group, unique, sort of like a Frank Zappa that we needed to now because it's an eccentric artwork. Like if you talk about like Body Count or groups like that are unique and different. I always have liked those unique groups because they combine different music and different styles and different influences. I love Jim Morrison. I used to have on my binder growing up, and Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, which nobody really knew who they were in my high school classes. They were like blank seeing that on my binder, but I've always liked old poetry. Lana Del Rey. Now, I had a friend. She was a really close friend. This is when politics really were changing. She was in Lana Del Rey. We all know Lana Del Rey cursed the president. It's all that dark magic stuff, and that she very feminist, which, when I look at it, it's all smells like rotten cheese to me, especially that a lot of women are just using men for sex and are women's liberators like Grace Slick, which I love Grace Slick. She's one of my favorite, she's my biggest influence is Grace Slick, is her voice. I really do love Grace Slick as a talented singer, but I can't really agree with all the politics because as the locker room talk always smells like funk, you know what I mean? Like my friend simply came from a single mother home and she moved to Florida for a while and was relying on men for at the time, and I didn't agree with it, but I just was like, okay, do your own thing. We all have to, live our own lives. She sent me like a tanned Stingray, as though I love Lana Del Rey, and I was thinking, yeah, Lana Del Rey. I was thinking all this modern stuff wasn't that great, but then I started noticing she's collaborating with like Joan Baez and like Elton John kind of sound, and I could appreciate some of her stuff, and I started singing again, and people were like, "Oh man, I love that West Coast." And like video games, all her old stuff. Video games. It's you, it's all for you. Everything I do, I tell you all the time. Heaven is a place on earth with you. Tell me all the things you want to do. I heard that you liked it back, 'cause honey, is that true? It's better than I ever even knew. I heard that the world was built for two. Yeah, I thought it was cheesy. Like, my friend really was all down with that stuff. Dating skaters and all that. I don't care. I dated skaters too. I bought a Powell Peralta it was a remake of the original Stacy Peralta like skull board. It was a real long board and it was custom built. It was like teal color. I know, I know the skateboard culture of San Diego. I know it real good. Dated a lot of them. I know, and uh, all the music of San Diego that is ingrained in our culture. Suicidal Tendencies. I remember my grandma saw that on my ex-fiance's shirt. She started laughing because she had her accident at a time. But I think of it, that painting right there was from Connecticut. Like that was on their wall. This is her husband Dallas. It was like a Marine, and he's known for his good looks and being very he's a very disciplinarian, studious. His parents were teachers. They were real smart, like really smart. His dad was a professor. His name was Orrin, and he was fought for the war. He was in World War One, and he went to college, and he studied into about all kinds of things. Like he knew all about, evolution, and he had to study all those things. That was the era. Evolution was actually new at the time, more talked about in schools, and he went to school in New York, but I think he went to school a couple different places. He was a traveling professor kind of guy. He was really smart. Like he studied into about plants and stuff. Like he was definitely studious. He complimented my other grandpa, my grandma's dad, saying he's the salt of the earth. Like, so he was influenced by God, but influenced by science also. Like, he was a very studious man, but also religious in a sense. He had his own, I think, sense of it. He wasn't really out about it. Dallas was the same. He was a very gentleman-like guy, very distinguished, and that's how that's the time and period that my mom is coming from, and was very more of a polite lady. Different type of people, depending on where your background's from. Because they one side was farm people, the other was teachers. They were very just on their own, business people, nice people, having their own jobs, middle class. Yeah, that's where my roots are coming from, and I started working at animal aviaries and eventually into caregiving, and then eventually I was engaged for years and figured it wasn't gonna happen, and I had to just pave my own way. My grandma would always ask, "Okay, do you have to work?" I'm like, "I have to work. It's changed now. The money has changed." And she lived with us for a while before she passed away because she didn't like nursing homes. She was not for it. She had a lot of ideas about nursing homes. So I know that times have changed. Things are divided. Politics are all split off. I can never consider myself to be a utopian type of a thinker, or I think that we do have to have better police enforcement. But realistically, we need it. We can't just be without it because we live on a fallen planet. We have to have it.